What's going on, guys? King of Telanis here. I know it's been a minute since I've done a video. I don't want to keep using the simple excuse for work, stuff like that. Honestly, kind of a personal matter. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of been down in the dumps about it. But, thankfully, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has saved me. So, I'm gonna actually give y'all a deck profile about something I've been talking about for a minute. And it's changed so many times, like, I don't even remember how it started. Because I'm a deck builder, but I'm, like, creative and, like, budget style, because that's just me, you know. But, it originally started as Darklord, and then it turned, like, into Turbo, but I don't like it. And then it went to Lockdown, but that was really hard to pull off. And then it went to a little bit more Christia Sworn. And then it went into more Beaters, Fairy. Then it went to Counter. So, I mean, it just kind of evolved and evolved and evolved. And I actually put it down for a minute and picked up Chaos Dragons. And I'll do a deck profile of that probably next week or so. Because I'm still trying to get the cards. I mean, I'll put a couple proxies in because I don't have everything. But, you know, for the cards I do have, you know, I'll show you how I run it. So, for now, this is my Darklord Variant deck. Darklords, I think, do still have quite a bit of potential. The way I used to run it, like I said, I put the deck down, I picked it back up. I honestly couldn't remember the original recipe, because for y'all that actually are very good at making decks and things like that, you guys have that exact recipe for the exact card for that exact spot, just so it runs right, it feels good, you know, things like that. You know, me personally, if I get my deck right, this is how I can always tell if I make a good deck. It runs good, it feels good, I don't get very crappy hands, and if I do get a bad hand, I know exactly how to run it, you know? So, just a little bit of dialogue. So, this is the version right now. It's not Burn, it's not Turbo, it's not Sworn, though I'm thinking about taking that in a little bit, you know, just for speed. The only thing I don't like about Sworn, Christia Sworn, is, like all milling, it's indiscriminate. You know, it's speed, but at what cost? You know, you're going to lose a lot of spells and traps. You're going to fill your graveyard, but you're going to lose a lot of spells and traps. So, let me get down to it, and let's get started. Alright, guys. We will start with spells, because I always like starting with spells. Alright, spells. So, let me just adjust. Alright. Macrocosmos. I'm sorry, Kaiser Coliseum. For those that don't know, this is actually a very good, very inexpensive card. If you have 2 monsters out, that means the opponent is allowed 2 monsters. If you lose a monster, then they're only allowed 1 monster. Now, if they have 2 monsters out and you only have 1, they cannot summon anymore whatsoever. And if they lose 1 monster, then you're both equal. Now, let's say you have Kaiser Coliseum out, you play Dark Hole, you have no monsters, they have no monsters. They are not allowed to summon any monsters until you have some, okay? So that's a good tech card. 1 Mausoleum. You may be asking why Mausoleum, because it's a fairy deck, why not Valhalla? I do run Valhalla, but Mausoleum is just in case I don't have the cards. I don't have Valhalla out, or they just MST my Valhallas. I can pay life points and just pull them out through a normal summon. Double Valhalla. Of course, you should know why. I wish I had these in secret, but I don't. Double MST. Not a huge fan of running these, but current metas, everything's back row heavy, so you're going to need them. Pot of Avarice, because nothing hurts more than when you get to recycle your Christias and your Darklords. And people are just like, fuck, because they can pull off that loop again. Alright, I don't run Athenas, by the way, because I don't like the burn. Not a bad, you know, play, but I mean, you can severely fuck that play up with Valor, Herald, and I'm talking opponent here. Valor, Herald, or DD Crow. Double Hand Destruction for the speed. Plus, I like the ability to send from my hand and the opponent's, so they don't get their Dark Rolls effects, they don't get their discard effects. It adds a little bit of speed. 3 isn't bad. I like running 2 though, because it helps me out a lot more. 1 Reborn just for those sticky situations, and 1 Heavy. Okay, so that's spells. Onto traps. Now you would think, especially with Chaos Dragons and Fairies themselves, since they use so much of the grave, Macrocosmos will hurt them. But here's the funny thing: it does, but it doesn't. I'll run Macrocosmos because it hurts everything else so much more than it hurts mine. Plus, because I run Return from a Different Dimension, I'll pay my life points out and special summon all my RFP'd monsters. Now, I can, if they like just deprison the crap out of me, I can bring all those back, and then I can bring out my loops, I can bring back my plays, anything like that, okay? However, all the monsters do get RFP'd again at the end of the phase, so it does have a bit of a drawback. Okay, 1D prison just for, you know, those finishers, things like that. I hate when people try to, like, I was playing this U-Bell deck once, and, you know, he kept trying to stop me. Finally, he swang, I D-prisoned it, and he kind of screwed himself. Mirror Force, because if anything, I wish this card was at 2. Great card, especially because a lot of people don't see it. A lot of people don't expect it to be played against them. Great for stopping one-turn kills. Torrential, same thing. You want to fill your grave, you want to take out your monsters and theirs, go for it. Double Solemns. The alternative to this card, if you don't want to go Solemn Warning, is Swallow Flip. Though a little bit expensive, not bad. Of course, I run the Solemn Brigade, so Solemn Judgment too. And remember, you can't Solemn Warning a Solemn Warning. You can only Solemn Judgment a Solemn Warning. Alright, now for the monsters, I gotta go quickly, guys, because I don't have a whole lot of time tonight. Because it's Saturday nights. 1, Meteon the Time Lord. 1, he's a fairy. 2, I can normal summon him, I don't have to tribute or anything. 3, can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. I take no damage from him as long as he's in face-up attack. Plus, he bounces everything on the field, okay? If they're swarming me, if they're running in sectors, Meteon, swing. As long as they don't have a back row, or, you know, as long as he doesn't get D-prisoned or anything, they're going to take 300 burn damage for every single monster taken out. So they bounce all their shit back. Everything in their graveyard goes, or everything on their field goes back to the graveyard. If you have Macrocosmos out, everything that just got sent to the graveyard is RFP. So definitely a good tech card. Of course, I run double Heralds. I would run 3, but they tend to slow me down sometimes, honestly. Much better than Veiler, in my opinion. I would much rather run these than Veiler. Double Summoner. Why Summoner? Yeah, it's a crappy card, but it fills my grave, it's a light, and it's a fairy, so it does its job. Double Hecatrice, of course, for Valhallas. Again, fills my grave, does the job. Now, when I first made this deck, I wanted lights and darks, so like a Chaos Mash, because they worked really good, because I don't want to get light imprisoning or shadow imprisoning and just get stuck. Double Summoner Monk. The reason I run Summoner Monks is because my Ixies. I run Utopia, I run Shockmaster, things like that. These cards help immensely. You'd be surprised. When I show you on my Chaos Dragon profile, I'm going to show you what funny shit you can do with Summoner Monks. 1 Kaiku. I was thinking about opening it to 2, because especially against Insector matchups, that's the only thing that helps me. I'll pull him out, I'll swing at something low, I'll do some damage, and I'll RFP like a Hornet and a Dragonfly if they have it. Okay? Double T-Kings, because with this deck, I always seem to pull him first hand, and he stops duels in their tracks. I can't tell you how many times I've literally pulled him first hand, summoned him, and, you know, they don't want to waste that. They don't want to waste their Ixies. They don't want to lose that special summon, so they'll just hold off and hold off and hold off. And then I'll pull out my Christia, and it's basically game from there. Double Chaos Orcs. I run 2 because I don't have a BLS. As soon as I get a BLS, though, I'll switch them out. 1 Gorge, just because, again, especially against Insectors. I believe it's Gigamantis, I believe. The huge beater. They'll pull him out, I'll pull out my Gorge and have a Mantis, and then I'll swing. So Gorge is a great one. Darklord Zerato. Alright. Dark, yes. Fairy, yes. Basically, he's a Lightning Vortex in a card. Alright, I can send 1 Dark from my hand to the graveyard to destroy all monsters my opponent controls. So, I'll show you some plays later. But if I have him out, and my Superbia and another fairy, it's basically game. Heavy Storm, drop his effect, swing, 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 game. That's why I like him, because he's a fairy. I used to run 2, but again, he would clog me up. Double Christia, again, not very hard. This deck with a couple tweaks would be very, very, very easy to pull out Christia, because I never am able to actually pull out the 4 fairies. I always have Hecatrice, Valhalla, Christia. I can't tell you how many times I first turned with Christia, and it helps immensely. Double Superbia, because if you run 3, cool. I don't feel the need for running 3. 2 works perfectly fine. And 1 Asmodeus. Why just 1? Because he can't be special summoned from the deck or the grave, honestly, and that's the major fallback on him. If he could be specialed from the grave, I would so run like 3 of him. But because he has that kickback, I can only use 1. Plus he has to go to the grave to get his ability. So that's just a quick overview of the deck. Alright, this is the side deck. 1 Chalice, double Lance, 1 Creature Swap for that Acid Golem play, 1 Mind Control for those Ixie plays, Another Crazy Coliseum, because these things they're MST fodder, but they slow down your opponent like no other. Secondary D Prison, just because. Second Macrocosmos. One Skill Drain, just in case. Skill Drain stops like basically everything. Double Shadow Imprisoning. Third Herald. King Tiger, just to kill everything. Secondary Kaiku. And of course Victoria for the Chaos Dragons. I haven't played this deck in a while. I've ran it. It's kind of alright. I need to work on speed though. Synchros. I do run Synchros, believe it or not. They're not very good. They're not very fast, but they seem to work. Iron Chain for the mill. Combine this with Macrocosmos and your RFP in their deck very quickly. Ancient Fairy for those counter matchups, Dark Worlds, especially other fairies. Kill theirs, pull out yours. Chaos Goddess to special summon those darks, great card. Stardust Dragon for those back row. Thought Ruler just because it saves itself, you know. I had an extra spot. Black Wing for those Acid Golem plays, Lava Golem, whatevers. Mistworm just because I love pulling them out and then pop, pop, pop. I think it's funny as shit when I pull him out. People are like, oh man. Chimera Tech because people do still run Cyber Dragon. Shockmaster. Really, I don't really find them useful at all, but you know, you pull out Shockmaster, people are automatically like, oh god, I can't do anything. Utopia, because he's helped me out so many times. Shark Drake, this is by far my favorite card. It may not be the most useful, but by far my favorite, you know. He so reminds me of Scorpion's, like, kunai effect, how he'll hit you with it, beat the shit out of you, you know, kick you, throw you, whatever. Hit you again with it, pull you back in, beat the shit out of you once again. That's so him right here. And one Heliopolis. Only because I run level 8s and only because I like that I can tribute from my hand and destroy cards on the field. Do you know how awesome that is? I don't even have to have them like on the field. I can tribute from my hand. So that's going to be the deck for now. Let me know what you guys think, improvements, anything like that. Again, I might go Christia Sworn, I might go a different direction, we'll just see. But for now, this is how it looks. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for now, and hopefully see y'all around.